to restore integrity and financial accountability to the city. I've served as public defender for 9 years. I live in the city with my daughter and my wife, and I care deeply about the future of the city. As public defender, I've defended the rights of everyday citizens and made sure that people got justice in court. As you know, for the past couple of years, I've been involved in trying to save the city. We have a huge fiscal crisis on our hands, and unless we take action, it's going to get worse. You know, the reforms that I have championed are reforms that are absolutely needed, along with action. We can't afford to just do things the same old way anymore. We're seeing what's happening in Washington, D.C. We're seeing what's happening in Sacramento. We can't let that happen to the city that we love. And so I'm here today to declare my candidacy for mayor. I'm here because I want to see a real debate in this race among the candidates. And I think people want to know the truth. We have to start with what the true situation is in the city. And I'm going to be that candidate.
What prompted this?
When I submitted the signatures last month to the Department of Elections, more people had been approaching me and talking to me about running.
The pension reform measure?
The pension reform measure. But it wasn't until I really listened to what the candidates were saying in the last few debates about pension reform. And I became convinced that either the candidates don't get it or they don't want to get it. And I want to make sure that there's a voice in there that's talking about the fiscal realities of the city. This is an issue that I've studied for the last 2 years. This is something that's very dear to not only all the families in San Francisco, but to everyone who has had their services cut. We've seen summer school cut for the first time in San Francisco's history. We're seeing the parks budget cut. We're seeing going to the ballot for a $240 million street bond. So these are the real cuts in services that San Franciscans are facing. And I'm convinced that by running for mayor, being part of the debate, I will be able to speak truth about what's really happening. And I think people need to hear that. It needs to be part of this debate.
So are you running to promote the pension reform, or is there something else?
No, I'm running to become mayor of San Francisco. This pension reform measure is one step that is necessary in order to fix the fiscal crisis of the city.
What are some of the others? What are some of the others that we need?
Well, if you look at health care, for example, we have a $4.3 billion unfunded health care liability. We have an overtime problem. We have a problem being able to fix our streets. That's why we're going to go to the ballot and vote on a $240 million street fixing bond. That's probably going to cost the city twice as much. And so these are the issues that have to be part of this debate, and nobody's talking about it.
Why'd you wait till today?
Because I listened to the debates between the candidates, particularly what they said about pension reform, and I realized that there would be no voice in this election for fiscal accountability and protecting basic services. I think it's great that other candidates celebrate and say that everything's going to be fine, but the reality is, unless we take action, and these are not easy problems to fix, let me tell you. I mean, over the past 2 years, taking on an issue like pension reform has been difficult, but it has to be done. And so we need candidates who are going to stand up and do the right thing for the people. It's not only about doing the right thing for people here at City Hall, but everybody in the city. And that's the candidate that I'll be.
How's it feel?